Raider Conflict 3, or RC3, is Raider Dawn's Halo-inspired open-number raid map for up to 80 players. In this guide, I'll be taking you through the map and walking you through the game's raid and combat systems. You can take a look at the timestamps to jump to what you'd like to learn. I'll also be linking a full text guide in the description as well. Welcome to Polaris 4. After joining the game, you can click past the entry message to get to the team selector. Choose UNSC if you're attacking. If you're a Raider Dawn ally, a pop-up will show up at this point that lets you switch to the Raider Dawn team. Now in the BDU selector, you can choose a built-in outfit, or you can reset your character at this point to preserve your normal character. Now we can choose our starter weapons. You'll have to choose a primary weapon, a secondary, and an equipment in order for the accept button to appear. All the other gear in the game is bought via weapon crates using credits. And finally, the spawn menu is pretty simple. You can spawn on any flag you own or on your main base. An official raid on RC3 usually starts with everyone freshly respawned, using starter weapons, and with 0 credits. So let's talk about the raid system. Raider Conflict is a defensive domination map. That means to win you need to hold all 5 control points. However, if you capture 3 or more points, the timer will start going down. If Raider Dawn recaptures at least 3 points, the timer will start counting back up. Once the timer reaches 1 minute, it'll freeze until the last control points are taken from Raider Dawn. What you want to do is hold the majority of flags until the timer reaches 1 minute, then make a final push for total control.
Flag stolen.
Then all you have to do is hold all the flags for just 1 minute.
Game over.
Flags are captured by standing at the base of the flagpole and waiting for the flag to go down and back up. You'll want to stand there and not jump up and down too much because that will slow the capture progress of the flag. You can also death cap if you die and fall right next to the flag. This is a recommended strategy during official raids. When you deploy, spawning on a control point you own is usually your best bet. But there are several options in your main space station that are highly useful, especially at the start of a raid. The deploy terminal in your station lets you instantly teleport planetside to one of 4 locations. There's also an orbital drop option that puts you in a semi-random location via a drop pod. But you have to note with the orbital drop that enemies can see and hear your drop pod as it falls and locate where you landed pretty easily. Your other deploy method is to go to the hangar area and buy an aircraft in the hangar or a spaceship at the docking port. Attackers have an advantage here because their station is a lot closer to the planet than Raider Dawn's station. Also note that there is no fall damage in the game, so you can jump out of a ship or aircraft to attack a flag without even descending or landing. Now let's take a look at the 5 control points. A and B are in this city area where you can expect close quarters combat and people shooting down from the tops of walls and buildings. The jump pack ability is extremely useful here. You also want to take note of the gates that are near A and B. You can sneak into the gatehouse and open the gate, which makes it very easy to drive in vehicles and capture the flag quickly. The Charlie flag is in this open area, not very close to other flags, but it is close to the Eastern Cliffs deploy location. This is probably the hardest point to defend because it's very open to snipers, but it is very easy to back cap this point. Delta and Echo are fairly close together in this upper hills region of the map. As far as the deploy terminal goes, you're best off picking Eastern Farm to get to Delta and Western Farm to get to Echo. The Echo flag is a bit harder to defend because it has mountains right over it and it has this indoor base structure to it. And when you capture Echo, you basically have to search this building and flush out any enemies. Let's talk about the credit system that's used to buy most weapons and vehicles in the game. There are 3 main ways to get credits: a payday every minute, a bonus for a kill or flag capture, and credit farming at various locations. Credit farming's not recommended during a raid because you'll probably get shot by a sniper or something. Much better to go for kills and flag captures instead. You do also lose 10% of your credits when you die, but you have 10 seconds of credit protection when you spawn. Now let's talk about the weapons in the game. So you can buy weapons at the weapon crates that are at your main spawn or at each control point. And both teams have the exact same list of weapons available. The list of weapons is rather long, so I'll put a quick breakdown of the primary weapons and the secondary weapons and the power weapons, and feel free to pause and look at this. But I will break down some specific things that you should know about. In the secondary and supplies crate, you can see some consumable equipment items, including the frag grenade, the med kit, and the missile jammer. Now the three of these do save when you die if you have some left, but they don't refill when you die, so use them wisely. And lastly, the abilities crate. So the abilities crate has two options that can replace your sprint ability. There is the jump pack, as we covered before, good for climbing stuff. Then there is the drop shield, which is mainly used to secure your capture of a flag so that you don't get shot first. It forces enemies to close in or destroy the shield. Also, support weapons. Make sure your team is using some anti-vehicle support weapons, notably the rocket launcher, which is good against ground targets, the Spartan laser, which is good against fast targets like pelicans, and the handheld missile pod for its lock-on capability. So, vehicles, the thing that Raider Conflict is pretty famous for. There are a lot of vehicles in this game, so let's just go over the basics first. There are three main kinds of vehicles. There's ground vehicles, there's aircraft, and spaceships, and we'll get into the difference between aircraft and spaceships. All vehicles in the game have a health system, and everything except for spaceships can be damaged by normal guns, small arms. You'll see damage indicators that include hit markers, sounds, and smoke and fire. So remember that your vehicles are not protected from friendly fire at all. UNSC vehicles are green and their spaceships have white markings. And Raider Dawn vehicles are red and their spaceships have red markings. Ground vehicles can be spawned at the vehicle terminals that are at every capture point and at the Southern Mine spawn location. There are really three different kinds of ground vehicles. There are the small and fast ones that are good for transport, like the Warthog variants. These are all capable of running players over for an instant kill. There are also heavily armed vehicles like the Mantis or the Wolverine, which are very good for anti-personnel and anti-vehicle purposes. Then there are two mobile spawn vehicles, the Mobile Command Center and the Elephant. Mobile spawns are pretty much just as strong as they sound. They can help you make a very difficult capture become possible. Now let's explain aircraft and spacecraft and what you should use those for in this game. There are three aircraft in the game. Aircraft are very light and fast and good for carrying troops and supporting them with machine gun fire. However, aircraft are very vulnerable and can be shot down with small arms almost as fast as a ground vehicle. Spacecraft, in comparison, have very heavy armor and they're completely immune to small arms fire. Only explosive weapons like rocket launchers can damage them. But they move pretty slowly and their weapons are less suited for shooting at enemy troops. They're more of an anti-vehicle option. Use your spaceships for their heavy weapons to pummel any enemy armor and bombard their positions, but don't try targeting individual troops. And if you use them as transports, you're better off just jumping out instead of taking time to land. Here's a demo of some ship weapons. Cannons are controlled by sitting in the cannon seat, one for each cannon, and using WASD to aim and using F or left click to fire. These are the only weapon in the game that has no anti-team kill, so be very careful when you fire them at the ground. Cannons can also be disabled by shooting at them with weapons. The other main ship weapon is missiles, also known as archer missiles or archers. These are on several different craft that will be listed on screen. The controls are shown on the side, but you can also remember V to lock, X to clear lock, and F to fire. The mouse control on these is very iffy, so make sure to always lock on to an enemy vehicle before you fire. Missiles are pretty deadly because they can hit almost any vehicle except for top speed ships and aircraft, so they are vital to maintaining vehicle superiority. And definitely don't spawn your own ground vehicles if the enemy has missile-equipped ships in the air. The missile Warthog also uses the same system, so you can use that as an anti-air Warthog. The biggest ships in the game, aka the frigate and the destroyer, also have a MAC cannon. This is a situational projectile weapon controlled from the missile seat, which is good for one-hitting other ships that are directly in front of your own. But to protect your ship from malfunction, You should not ever fire this while your ship is moving forwards. Your biggest ship, the Halberd class destroyer, also works as a mobile spawn on your spawn menu. If you have enough credits, this can turn the tide of a raid, but it can still be shot down pretty fast if you don't have enough crew operating the weapons. As a final note on ships, make sure you don't have too many people crewing ships, because every crew member in the air is not a soldier on the ground and you can start losing territory. It's also good to know Raider Dawn's rules of engagement regarding ships. Raider Dawn is not allowed to engage ships unless they have entered the planet's atmosphere or started firing on Raider Dawn. That concludes this guide. Thank you for watching and good luck on your raid. If you have any questions, make sure to read the text guide, drop a comment, or ask a member of the group, and feel free to join the Raider Dawn community. This has been General Cam of the Raider Dawn. I'll see you out there.